Hello, and welcome back to the Coop De Villa channel. I'm Scott Cooper, and we are back to talk about Brighton and Hove Albion versus Aston Villa. We're back in the winning ways, 3 points, and we're all going to talk about what a great match it was after this. Okay, so we were back. We had to travel down to the south coast to play Brighton. There was traffic, so there was a bit of a delay, and we all got the team news. And there was two changes. It was Ollie in for Buendia, which was the big shock, and Konza coming back in for Chambers. That was more sort of straightforward. And I want to welcome Aman back. Tommy's missing this week. So Aman, welcome back to the show. And what did you think when you saw the lineup and saw that Buendia had been dropped and we'd gone to a sort of 4-3-2-1 or 1-2 formation with the two up front?
I was very disappointed because Buendia has been my favourite player for like the last month. Pretty much since Gerrard's come in. Last month the results haven't gone our way, but he's been amazing. Some of the stuff, the way he's been playing. So thought it was a bad decision, but we got the 3 points. So what do I know?
That's it. There was a big meltdown on Twitter for sure from what I was looking at with when Buendia was not in the starting lineup, Noah. But he went through a different system. Something had to change. And I think the biggest thing I got out of the change of system wasn't so much how Ollie and Ings played, but I thought the midfield, Ramsey, McGinn, and Louise were back to almost their best, especially McGinn.
First of all, when is Villa Twitter not having a meltdown over the lineup? We could have our strongest team for every week and there'd still be a meltdown over the backup goalkeeper on the bench or something. In terms of the team, I think the way that they Gerrard played the two up front, it was different because under Smith, he always put Watkins out left. Yeah. So it was a 4-3-3 where this was two number nines, very clearly Coutinho in behind. And as you said, Ramsey, McGinn and Louise. Louise was iffy, played a couple of very stupid passes. That happens in football, could have cost us the game, but didn't. Got the 3 points. McGinn, that was the best game I've seen him play in a very, very, very long time. And I'm just happy that hopefully he can continue this form because we need him. We definitely need him.
That's it. And I noticed as well with this sort of little tweak in the system, Troy, that the fullbacks weren't getting forward as much. Where we didn't see that sort of situation where Ramsey and McGinn were playing right and left back. They were playing a lot more advanced, but it still was effective because Cashy got forward and got the opening goal with a great strike.
Yeah, they're almost playing what Pep calls inverted wings backs, whereas they come sort of towards the middle rather than going super wide, and it did make a lot of difference. It just meant that McGinn didn't have to cover for Cash as much, and as Noah said, he was dominant. And that's the best we've seen the young Scotsman play for quite a few months. Now, look, as far as Twitter meltdowns go, I'm usually the person who starts them. But when I saw the team lineup, I had every intention of staying up until what kickoff was 1 o'clock in the morning for me. And then I saw Buendia was dropped. And like Aman said, he's probably been my favourite player this year. So sod this. I'm going to bed. Gerrard's weak in the midfield where we desperately need help. He's weak in the creativity. He's put Ollie Watkins and Ings together who can't play. So I already had my rant prepared for this podcast. And I woke up in the morning, watched the game and thought, oh, I got nothing to talk about. I got it all wrong and Gerrard got it right.
Certainly did.
And the thing is that I didn't think Ramsey played particularly well. He's gone missing for a couple of games now. Louise was a bit hit and miss. He was either pretty good or pretty damned average. And despite that, we made Brighton look ordinary. It didn't actually look like we'd even got out of third gear. So just how bad Brighton are. And I'll say one thing, if we paid 40, 50 million for Basuma, I'd be breaking furniture because he's galactically crap.
Well, yeah, I agree. He had a really bad game.
Yeah, he didn't have a good game, and they're not in a great place. I don't think they'd scored. I think that's maybe 4 or 5 games in a row now that they haven't scored. So that's always been their sort of problem is, up front, they've been a bit lightweight. And I think we play them at a good time, and we seem to be a bit of a bogey team for them as well. We seem to beat them quite often.
Not
And-
there though, Scotty. We haven't beaten them there apparently since they've been in that ground.
Yeah,
This has
but
been in the Amex, but we
they
love
haven't.
playing.
I don't think they've beaten us either, have they? I
Well,
think there's been a few
yeah.
draws.
But, we love drawing
Yeah.
against them. We don't mind drawing against Brighton.
But
And the commentator kept saying, Brighton will score most of their goals in the last 10 minutes. I'm thinking,
Shut up. Yeah.
And then I saw a message come through from Tommy saying, I called it. And I thought, we were 2-0 up when I saw that message. And I thought, what's Tommy called?
Yeah.
Has he called 4-0 or has he called lost 3-2? So the last 10 minutes were a bit sweaty for me.
Yeah.
I will say something weird about Brighton this season, Scotty, is everyone really. They've only won 3 games at home this year. Their home form is terrible. They get most of their points on the road, which is very, very, very weird. And I thought with crowds being back, I thought that most teams get all their points at home, but Brighton clearly not.
Well, to be honest, there wasn't really many Brighton fans at the game.
It's a record crowd they were predicting, and
I know.
I'll tell you something. There was definitely a fire drill in 3/4 of the stadium about the 80th minute as well, because it evacuated very quickly.
And we had a massive away section. That's a pretty big stand, and we had it
It's
full
huge.
with villains, and they were making way more noise than the Brighton fans. They must be absolutely fed up at what's going on, but
Yeah.
They got to learn that that's the Premier League. I mean, we've been through it for long enough that it takes a long time to sort of work your way into those top half positions and European positions. But no, I mean, it's a win that I'm just glad we got in there, got the 3 points, and got out. I don't think we were brilliant. Like you said before, the midfield. When I said the midfield was good before, I meant we were getting the ball in better areas. Ramsey and McGinn weren't as wide. Dougie wasn't as isolated in the middle, and Ramsey and McGinn especially looked like they had the ball and they could drive forward into sort of the attacking third. So from that point of view, I thought we looked a lot better. But yeah, we didn't create a lot, but we got the goal. Great goal by Cash, he got booked, of course, for displaying the message to his Poland teammate who's playing for Dynamo Kiev. So he's in the Ukraine, and that was a message to.
And what's the pronunciation of his name, Scotty?
I don't know. It's I didn't look that one up at the actual player, but I do know he's a Polish international that plays for Dynamo Kiev. So yeah, he's going through obviously a tough time, and it's good to see Cash and the rest of the Premier League in general getting behind that message to stop the war and stop all the wars. So that's good. As far as Villa were concerned, it's one of those games that you just take the 3 points and you get out of there, because I don't think we can take a lot from the game, Aman. I mean, I don't think we were brilliant, but we sort of just grounded out and got the goals when we needed them.
Yeah, I think you said it the best. It was just about getting the 3 points, getting a win on the board, because points form, it hasn't been there for the last few games.
No.
We just needed 3 points, even if it was a 1-0, scored a goal in the 89th minute with our first shot of the game, you would have taken it. It was just all about the 3 points, I think, and, get the 3 points, go back and, focus on the game next week and see if we can build on it, I think, is the main thing. Try to build some consistency now.
Well, that's it. We got Southampton and Leeds next. So, a lot of people before this Brighton game were saying, look, we've played Leeds, Newcastle, Watford, and we've got 1 point from those 3 games. This is atrocious, but we do still have an opportunity, because we do have some tougher games coming later on in sort of April and May. So we really need to focus and try and, improve our home form. That's one thing I took out of Gerrard's post-match interview. He was saying we need to improve our home form. And, we've got a good opportunity now, Noah. But the game was a bit dirty, a bit niggly. What did you think of that? Well, did you think, like me, that we were not going to finish the game with 11 men on the park?
I thought there was going to be both teams with 9 players on the field watching that game. The ref had absolutely no control over it. But it's something about Villa Brighton. I think it's a lot to do with Neil Maupay. He's a bit of a feisty guy, and Trossard as well.
Yeah, he doesn't like us.
But every time we seem to play Brighton, there's Chons. Like when I was there, I went to the Amex in 2020, and there was Chons in that game as well.
There's what?
That Chons fighting.
That's a millennial speak. All right.
Yeah, so there was fighting.
It's what all the cool kids are saying these days.
But there's fighting in those games as well. But seriously, we ended up with 6 yellow cards. And Brighton, I think, only got 4, and they should have got a lot more, in my opinion. I think when McGinn was running through to cross the ball, he got fouled, then got grabbed. Yeah. Like that's a yellow card, but the ref had no control. So he's 4th and, in my opinion, final Premier League game for quite some time because he just didn't know how to control the game. Obviously, whatever he said to Tyrone Mings and Dunk at the start of the game or during those fouls did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, Tyrone Mings went off at, who was it?
It was Mope, I think it was. Yeah. He's a dog. No one likes him anyways. I don't think his teammates like him.
No, Mings went off at the guy with a massive hair, cockroach.
That guy. Because he fouled Watkins with the elbow and then dropped like a pack of spuds.
Yeah.
And then not only that, Watkins got booked for it.
I know he tried to get Watkins sent off.
I saw a lot of people, criticizing the referee for booking Mings, but I'm sorry, he ran 40 yards to get involved with something he shouldn't have been involved with.
It's a yellow card, It's a yellow card. End of the day, as you said, Scotty, we came in, did the job, 3 points. Thank you very much, Brighton, for the double, and we'll see you next year.
Another thing that was a big standout for us, Troy, was the defense. Konza back in. I think that just brings a weight of calmness and we look so much more organized with him and Mings. I think he improves Mings. Mings had a great game as well. I thought just missed out on my top 3 votes. Mings, I put Konza in there with 1 point because I thought when he's just compared to the last 2 games against Newcastle and Watford, we look so much more solid. And there was only really one shot on target that I can think of that Brighton had.
Yeah, they were far more composed. I thought Cash looked good tracking back because he didn't have to track back as much. And you kind of figure if he runs up the pitch 20 times in a game, but he doesn't go that extra 20 yards, that's an awful lot of distance that he doesn't have to cover. And so that last 15 minutes of the match, he's a lot fresher. I thought Luca Dean had a bit of a tricky afternoon against
Lamptey.
Yeah. Lamptey. He's a good bit of a wind-up merchant. And I think this is where Brighton maybe have got a bit of an attitude. They're a very small team. We're not a particularly big side. And Brighton are even smaller. So I wonder if there's a little bit of little man syndrome going on there. And that's where the anger comes from. But, I thought our back four were very composed. And when Tim Iribunum came on,
We'll call him Timmy, all right?
When Timmy came on, I just, the one thing that struck me about him, he didn't have an awful lot to do, but what he did with a great deal of composure. I've noticed throughout our youth that have come through in the last couple of years, the one thing they've all got in common, regardless of what position they play, they're very, very composed on the ball. That the amount of chill they have is quite impressive. So whoever's teaching, which I think is Mark Delaney in the youth, is teaching you get on the ball, calm down. Calm your tits and just play football. And they are exceeding that. I was very impressed with the young man. As I say, he didn't have a lot to do for 10 minutes, but what he did.
100% pass accuracy. 100% pass accuracy.
Yeah.
Really?
Very composed. Yeah. I think he had like 10 passes or something. Not many. I think he didn't touch the ball a huge amount. But when he did, he, as you said, Troy, just looked so calm on the ball. I guess he's been training with the first team for a very, very long time, which would help him do that. But I mean, if this is some of the players you got coming through, I mean, I'm very excited for the future. Very, very excited for the future.
And they weren't just like sideways and backwards passes either. He played a few nice balls through. I think there was one to Cash on the right that he sort of played him in. And, he went for a few different things, and that's all great to see as well. But, the other big talking point, man, from the game, of course, was Ollie Watkins back on the score sheet. It's been a while. I think maybe Brighton was the last time we played them. Like Gerrard's first game, or
Norwich.
Norwich, yes.
No one knows.
Yes. Come on, Norwich. Why? You should just ask me. You don't have to assume, mate.
Right. Well, I knew it's been a while. Look, my memory isn't as good as it used to be, but so it was a nice long ball down the line from Tyrone Mings, and the Veltman, I think it was. Misjudges it. And Ollie, I thought not only was it a good run, a good ball, but his first touch just to put it onto his left and to have the composure to take it on his left that shows that even though he's going through a bad run, he's a good finisher.
I think it was a typical Ollie Watkins goal, typical Mings, not a diag, but like just that long pass over the back of a defense that's, pushed up too high. And then, him off the shoulder, no one's going to catch him in the Premier League. Great finish. Big celebration as well, which is interesting considering I think it's just his thing now that he doesn't celebrate other people's goals, which is, I think everyone was like, oh, it's an attitude problem, this, that. But I think that's just his thing. He's a striker. He wants to be the guy scoring. When someone else scores, if he doesn't celebrate, don't think there's any more to read into it. But when he scores, massive weight off his shoulders. I think, 7 games since his last goal. Hopefully he can start banging a few now, get to double digits as well. Really good from him.
Yeah, after the game, I was pleased to hear him say that he hasn't been good enough this season. He mentioned that he hasn't been scoring as many as he should be, and that's what you want to hear. He's not happy with, I don't know, the 4 or 5 goals, whatever he's got this season. He wants to be hitting 15 or more like he did last year. And hopefully he can have a really good, strong finish of the season.
And that's what make that goal all the more impressive for me. Had he been on 12, 13, 14 goals already this season and he put through, he knows there's no pressure on him. But when he's going through a bit of a dry spell and he knows the crowd's on his back, he knows there's a lot of written about him in the press and social media, the pressure on him to score that would have been absolutely immense. So for him to put it away so well was lovely to see. It was also good to see Ings rush across and celebrate with him, which, as Aman said, that's put paid to a lot of the rumours that they don't get along. I just think Ollie Watkins is just going through a bad spell. He obviously is someone who puts a lot of pressure on himself. And hopefully this opens the door for him. And, if he can get to double digits, I think then the floodgates will open and we'll see a completely different player.
That's it. It'd be great if we could have a game where they both scored in the same game.
It's coming. It's coming.
I've got a feeling it's coming too. Well, like one assists the other, or vice versa. It'd be great to see that. But like you said, it's coming, and I think Coutinho as well. We saw a different kind of game from him in that hole in that number 10 spot. He had a bit more freedom. I thought he played really well again. I think he's only going to get better as well. I thought his free kick was brilliant. He's unlucky not to score that.
Deserved a goal, Scotty. Yeah. That honestly,
great save.
I thought for a minute it crossed the line.
Yeah, so did I.
It must have been the last ditch of all last ditch saves. I reckon maybe even a part of the ball.
Fair play. Fair play to Sanchez. But do you want to know a fact, Scotty? Coop De Villa.
Give me a fact.
Do you know when was our last free kick goal? Come on, surely. Someone have a guess.
It's got to be Connor, right?
It was Connor against Newcastle in 2020 or 2019, the season we just got promoted.
No.
So,
2-0 win.
Yeah, a 2-0 win. Yeah, that was our last goal from a dead ball free kick.
Oh man!
Does it count as a free kick goal? Because didn't someone lay it off? Didn't someone touch it off first?
No, still counts. I think. Okay. Yeah, I know because Grealish did lay it off to him.
Yeah.
So but there you go.
Where is Noah? Where is Noah? For me,
it doesn't matter.
How he knows this, I don't know.
Twitter.
I can't even remember who took our free kicks last season.
Well,
I mean, was it El Ghazi?
El Ghazi did a few. Connor, when he played, didn't really play much last year, did he? There you go.
I reckon Coutinho will get one before the end of the season, and hopefully it's a ripper. Because he's looking good, and he's definitely got the technique to beat a goalkeeper from 25 yards, and I think he's just going to get better and better, and we're looking forward to the Southampton game now, guys. So Troy, we'll start with you. What can you see any changes or any what your prediction would be for the scoreline?
Well, it's a tough one, isn't it? I don't know whether he rested Buendia because there was a niggling injury or what the story was, but I like the guy. To me, he's a creative player. He has to play. Will Gerrard put him in. It's going to be a tough game, but for me, with these, we have to win these for the simple reason we have to get top half, because I think if we don't get at least top half, Coutinho will be gone. I know we have an option to buy him, but he doesn't necessarily have an option to stay if he doesn't want to. No one's going to force him to do that. No, I can't see him staying in a bottom half side. So, we've got to win this. Who we got after that? Leeds?
Yeah, Leeds, then West Ham.
Okay, the West Ham game will be hard. Leeds with a new manager, we might sneak a win. Southampton, I'm going to go with, I reckon he'll stick with the same side. And I'll go for 2-0 with Ings and Watkins scoring. There you go. I don't believe it for a second, but I'll pick it.
I will go a win, 2-1. I'll say Ings and Coutinho. And Aman, what do you think about Southampton at home this weekend?
I'm a bit like Troy. I want to see Buendia come back into the starting lineup, but whether or not you can change a winning team is another story. He could if he sticks with the same formation with two up top, does he give Ramsey a rest and bring Buendia on to play as one of the eights? Because, I think Buendia struggled early on under Smith as a lone number 10. So maybe him playing a bit deeper, he's someone that can get stuck in. Do we finally get to see Morgan Sanson or not? Or is it...
He was all right when he came on.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
But, in terms of result, I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet. I reckon James Ward-Prowse always scores against us. So he'll probably...
Loves a free kick too.
Put in a free kick. But, I've got to go for a win, right? I reckon 3-1. So
nice.
There we go.
Nice, Noah.
So, Troy, to answer your question, first of all, Buendia doesn't have a niggle. Gerrard said in his post-match press conference, he just said the style of play, he just wanted to try something different. So that's why he went with what he went with.
Yeah, he said he wanted to go with 2 9s instead of 2 10s.
Yeah. And Fabrizio Romano, the most reliable football source I know, said Coutinho is very happy at Villa and wants to stay. So obviously, league position will depend on that.
Yeah, if we show a bit of progress, I think that's the main thing. And I think he's looking at this side. You can tell, like, the way that him and Ramsey have linked up. Like, I think he's impressed with the youth.
So do I.
He can see something happening in the next few years. And
he
had such a torrid time at Barcelona that
he doesn't have a few years left in him, though, Scott.
He's only 28, Troy.
Is he?
He's younger than De Bruyne. He's only 28, turning 29. So this guy's going to get the reins to this team.
You can have him for 5 years.
Yeah, he's going to get the reins to this team and control the team if he wants it. So
I thought he was a bit older than that. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so he's young.
He could be the senior guy in there with like a 22-year-old Chucky and a 25-year-old Jacob Ramsey, and it'd be amazing.
Well, talking about aged players, if Ashley Young is the answer, I'm not quite sure Steven Gerrard understands the question.
Yeah, I was surprised to see him come on again.
Yeah,
to be honest.
But he obviously rates him as a senior professional. He was a bit higher up this time, not as a defender. So he was a bit of a senior pro up there. I was wrong. He's 29, by the way. I had to research it, but he's still younger than De Bruyne. But I'm going to go unchanged team. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet. And I agree with Aman, 3-1. I'm going to go Watkins, Ings to score against his former club. I hope he gives it live to them as well, because they've been getting a lot of crap on social media.
They have.
And I'm going to go a Luca Digne free kick.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Nice one. Nice one.
So remember that.
Well, we'll start to wrap it up there, guys, with a bit of a short one. We're going to go back into the quiz next week with Noah and Troy equal on 3 points now at the top of the table. We've got Tommy lagging behind on 1, so he needs a win. But
he's getting a hair transplant tonight, so he might come back, refreshed and revitalized.
Or maybe he's going through Wikipedia. Who knows? Because he said the other week that he'd been researching Callum Chambers, but he's still got that question wrong. So maybe he needs to do a bit more research. But I want to do a shout out to one of our fans, Ian, who put up a great comment and was talking to us about where we're from and what's our Twitter handles. He's followed us all on Twitter, and he's enjoying the channel, enjoying the show. So thanks, Ian, for your support. It's much appreciated. We read all the comments, guys. So please comment, let us know what you saw on the weekend that was better. What you want to see coming up against Southampton, and any predictions for scoreline or formation or anything like that. Please let us know. And
Noah's collapse in the quiz.
Yes, well,
Sure.
And
We'll go with that.
thanks again, Aman, for filling in as always. Guys, we'll have to look forward to Saturday afternoon or Saturday night our time, and Southampton at home. So up the Villa, and we will see you all next week.
Say hello to your mum for me.
Later,
See you later.